Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Copeland, and I love supporting women on this journey of finding a great man to share their heart and life with when they're in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. And today I've got 5 tips for you for getting quality man over 50 to ask you out. And I can't wait to share them. So, have you ever been somewhere where you saw an attractive man and you wanted him to notice you and maybe get to know you and ask you out? But what do you do? Well, let me share a real quick little secret about men. They need encouragement from you to know it's safe to approach. And that's why today I want to share 5 tips that are going to let him know you're interested. So let's talk about tip number 1. A great way to let a man know you're interested is just to smile at him and make eye contact for, get ready, 5 seconds. Yep, 5 full seconds that are going to seem like an eternity. But it's a signal that lets him know that you're interested in him. And the other thing you can do is you see someone maybe behind you or off to the side, or let's say you and your friend are sitting at a bar. You can look over at the person and smile, look back at your friend, then look back again at the person. And he knows then, oh, she's interested. And if he's interested as well, he will come up and talk to you. This is called leading. And what it means is you're not taking control of the situation. What you're doing is just letting him know he can approach you, that you're interested. And then he is not so worried about being rejected. I know we're kind of worried about being rejected by men too when we go and approach them as well. And that's for another day. But let's keep moving on in these tips, okay? Tip number 2, get a man's attention by asking him a question. It is as simple as that. And the reason is because men are really wired to help you as a woman. And I want to give you some examples of questions you can ask that can actually start a dialogue between the two of you. So let's say you're at a happy hour with a friend and a man sits next to you, and maybe he's drinking a certain kind of martini or a certain kind of wine, and you like martinis or wine or whatever it is he's drinking. All you do is you just turn and say, "Hi, can I ask you a question? What is that you're drinking? It really looks good." And a guy will go off and start telling you all about it because he wants to help you. Now, let's say you're at Starbucks. You can see a man sitting by himself, but there's an extra chair next to him. And let's say there's nowhere else to sit. You can go up to him and you can say, "Hi, is this chair taken?" And you can do this at Panera too, by the way. And if you're in line next to a guy that looks kind of nice, ask him what his favorite coffee is or favorite tea is. Men are wired to help. Now, a really fun place to do this is at a dog park. And if you don't have a dog, see if your friends will let you borrow theirs. All you have to do is start talking to a man. Ask him about his dog. Ask him what kind of dog it is. Look at the toy the dog might be carrying and say, "Oh my God, that is so cute. And I think I would love to buy that for this dog. Where did you get it?" Any kind of question is a great way to start a conversation and to get things moving along. Now, let's talk about tip number 3. Really try and listen to what a man is saying to you. Men speak a different language from us, and we don't necessarily hear what they're saying, and they don't necessarily hear what we're saying. Here's what I mean by that in terms of what a woman did not hear what the guy was really trying to say to her. So, a client of mine, Heidi, she was sitting at a bar having dinner with her friend, and they struck up a conversation with a man who had walked in and sat down next to them. And her friend started the conversation with a question. And she asked him, "What kind of salad is that? It looks amazing." He told them, and then they started going back and forth. And the three of them were having a full blown conversation. Now, Heidi's friend ended up leaving, and this man who Heidi thought was pretty attractive, and he was from out of town, so she wasn't paying too much attention to him because of that. But the two of them continued talking. And over again, this man shared that he was not locked into where he lived and that he had seriously dated women from cities other than the one he lived in. Well, when Heidi and I talked after that, what happened was she realized she missed his male language hint for, are you interested in dating me even though I live out of town? And she might have been. She thought he was absolutely cute. And hey, if he dated women out of town before, maybe she could have made it work. And she regretted not saying, oh, that's interesting. Where are you from? And you've dated women from out of town. And getting into a whole conversation with him. She actually thought about him for days and really felt she missed an opportunity. So you want to start paying attention to verbal signals that men give to you. Tip number 4. So I've talked about my favorite television shows before. I absolutely love Survivor, but I also love I Love Lucy. In fact, one of my favorite episodes is one called Lucy and Ethel Go to Charm School. And it's a really funny episode where they get all dressed up for Ricky and Fred. And Ricky and Fred really like them how they were. And that is something you want to remember about men. They actually want to know the real you. It's worth looking it up on YouTube because it's really a very funny episode. But let me give you a little background on another I Love Lucy episode. So back in the day when that show was produced, which was like, I think the 1950s, early 1950s, a woman would drop her handkerchief in front of a man to let him know she was interested in him. Now, in one of the I Love Lucy episodes, Lucy was dressed in a disguise and was pretending to be another woman. Now, remember, this is fantasy, but she did something that women did back in that day to let a man know she was interested in him. She dropped her handkerchief and she said, "Pardon me," fully expecting him to pick it up for her. And both understood this was a sign she was interested and he could approach her if the attraction was mutual. And of course he did, because Fred had told him it was Lucy in there. But you can do the same thing with men today. Instead of using a handkerchief, you can drop something. You could drop your phone. Be careful, make it in a shatterproof case. Or you could drop a package, you could drop a folder. I've had clients drop folders, and men really do step up to help you. And while he's helping you and you're thanking him, you never know where this might go. So try it. Tip number 5, your job is to let him know you're interested in having him approach you. His job is to ask you out if he's interested. If he's not, it doesn't mean he's personally rejecting you. He might be married, he might have a girlfriend, or like so many men that you feel this about, you might not be his type. Just move on. There are plenty of other men out there to date. And you can chalk the experience up as an opportunity to practice your flirting skills. Now, these 5 tips are going to give you the opportunity to start to confidently interact with a lot of men. And you never know, one just might turn out to be your Mr. Right. Now, before we go, I want to share an email that I got from a client because I want you to know that finding love truly is possible. And I want this to inspire you to get out there and date. And if you need help with dating, there's a link below to set up a complimentary time for us to talk. Okay, let me share this with you. This is from my client, Ginny, and she wrote me and she said, "Lisa, if I hadn't memorized your advice to wait a few dates and not look for an immediate spark By the way, he's 5'9" to my 6 feet, bald, and a little overweight as I am. I would not have had the opportunity to be walked to my car, asked politely to be kissed. The man, by the way, has seriously good kissing skills, and the fun and the excitement of making out like teenagers for a few dates. Thanks to what I learned from you, I have found the love of my life. He calls me his Nordic goddess. I feel so cherished and feel so lucky we found each other. Oh, and he's been so there for me as I've gone through a rough knee replacement. He rose to the occasion, impressing me and my kids. They are now all Team Mark. I just cannot thank you enough for all your support. I love getting emails like this. They make me so excited when I hear how happy clients are and how they have found the right guy. So if this is something you want to know more about, just click that link below. There's also a link for getting other resources that will help you in your dating life. And I look forward to supporting you on this journey. So believing in you, you can make this happen. Big hugs. Bye.